Hey everybody, thank you for coming to this talk. My name is Haitham. I'm going to be talking about my experience building a music project in Web3. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Stems. It's basically a music creation and collaboration platform powered by Web3. My background's in engineering. I worked in venture capital, startups. In 2018, I did some open source code for Cosmos, actually. And then I'm pretty passionate about music, so I like to rap and produce and sing for fun. So as many people here probably already know, the music industry is a little bit flawed. Unfortunately, most musicians aren't living off their music. And I think there's three main reasons why the music industry is not efficient. Basically, it's like poorly designed. The mechanism doesn't reward the creators properly, and it doesn't have good discovery mechanisms. The three main factors are, so one, most of the music you listen to is back catalog that is owned by three major labels. Warner, Universal, and Sony. They control 80% of the stuff you listen to on Spotify. And then there's insane competition for musicians. Is anybody here a musician? Nice, great. So insane competition, 60,000 tracks a day are uploaded on Spotify, and only 0.2% of people on Spotify make over minimum wage in the US. And then a thing that we don't talk about enough is how the internet kind of somewhat destroyed the music industry in the sense that everything you had to pay for, like you had to get a disc or a cassette or vinyl before, and then you could just get it for free via peer-to-peer. Here you can see the kind of evolution of music with various technologies, music revenue. So in the period since the early 2000s and now, the US GDP more than doubled, whereas music revenue basically is just about the same. And you can see, like, after the 70s, you have vinyls, then you have the disc in the early 2000s, the 1990s and early 2000s, and then you see the effect of the internet completely destroying the music revenue sales. But there is hope, like the ad-supported and paid streaming monetization methods are starting to be pretty interesting. Even though Spotify gets a bad rap, it did kind of innovate in the sense that before people used to listen to music in albums, they used to buy vinyl CDs and like kind of listen to an album by an artist, whereas now it's kind of playlist oriented, which is, and you can have any song you want instantaneously, which is one of the benefits of digital streaming. So what does that all have to do with Web3? Basically, by putting music, like audio files, that's basically what music is, audio files in NFTs, you can have interesting kind of attributes such as transparent royalty attribution. So you know who owns the NFT, who created it. When there's revenue generated by the NFT, you can attribute it properly. And then you have like composability. So you can basically give the NFT owners, the NFT creators, specific perks at a concert or on a different platform. They can use the NFT with another audio file or another video file, and then you can kind of compose into a new NFT. And then the last thing, which I think is very cool, is as an artist, if you put an NFT out and people buy it, you have the wallet addresses of the people that supported you. So you have a direct kind of link to these people. Most of the time, like if you post your music on YouTube, Spotify, etc., you get people who comment, you know who they are, but you don't know who kind of listen to your song. You don't know who your top fans on Spotify are. So yeah, I think this is an interesting thing about NFTs as well. And so we focus on stems, which are basically individual instrument tracks. For the people who aren't musicians in the crowd, I'm just gonna let Stromae show you. Better. Can it be louder? Or? Okay, I have something else planned. So this is a stem player. Have you guys ever seen this? Anybody? So this is something Kanye West came up with, and it kind of shows what stems are. So each of these little bars here is one of the instrument tracks, like drums, bass, vocals, and melody. So if I play here, I can kind of turn off a part of it. You hear like different parts of the song coming together. So that's kind of what a stem is each different individual stem track. Okay. All right, and so the reason we decided to make STEM NFTs instead of song NFTs is because I personally believe that for music to go to, like, for kind of a consumer product to grow in the blockchain with music, you need the music to be there already. Like, I don't think people are going to listen to music that is on Spotify that they can get for $10 a month on other platforms because they're supporting the artist. Unfortunately, that's not how human nature works. So by focusing on STEM NFTs, we have the building blocks for music, and the music is being created on-chain. So you have to go on-chain to listen to it. And then you can do STEM level rights attribution, and the original artist has kind of control over their, whatever is made with the STEM. So imagine a 40-year-old bass line is used again, like 40 years later. You can reward the people that bought it, that created it, etc. So we made this protocol basically that consists of dropping a song into like the different pieces of it. It stems as NFTs. And then we, like the Stems Labs, the company, incentivizes people to make music with these STEM NFTs. And then the resulting music is basically a combination of stems from the drop and then new stems that the remixers make. And then there's the original artist can actually approve the remixes they like on-chain. So it's kind of like a featuring mechanism on-chain. Like, let's say there's 50 remixes. The original person can pick which one they like, and that's kind of public and transparent. So up until now, this presentation we've been doing that with this presentation for a few months, and that's like kind of the theory of the protocol is very interesting, et cetera. But in practice, we've been building for about a year now and talking with a lot of artists. The reality of it is like the protocols and the things underneath are all interesting, and like when they grow, they make a lot of sense. But initially, you need people and you need artists to use them. So we've been focusing on a platform that wraps around this protocol called stems.art, kind of the same way Uniswap Labs released a mobile app, for instance, to wrap the Uniswap protocol. Yeah, I think like that's the most interesting kind of topic nowadays, as the person before me was talking about, like how do you make user-friendly things, like beyond Web3? How do you kind of hide all the protocol stuff and make it very simple? So there are two ways that you can grow the network of a protocol, in my opinion. One is strong incentives. So basically, like proof of work for Bitcoin and Ethereum, it was like people were using Bitcoin and Ethereum because there was a financial reward for it. In the case of these projects, like you have Audius and a bunch of other projects that did airdrops, which is an interesting mechanism that can use that. Another way to make your kind of base of users grow is just good UI UX. Like OpenSea, they first built a nice product that was very simple to use, brought like tens of millions of people into Web3, and then they built a protocol. So that's kind of the approach we have. And you can see how early we are. Like there's 200 million Ethereum addresses, and then 600 million music streaming users. There's 2.3 billion people on Instagram every month. So we're still very early, and we need to focus on this kind of user adoption stuff. Unfortunately, there's some challenges. I don't know what's going on with this slide. Anyway, so there's obviously UI UX hurdles around wallet signatures and transactions. Like who logged in using a wallet here? Whoever used a wallet here? Who never had a problem connecting with a wallet? All right, nobody. So like basically like, I use wallets every day. I have multiple wallets. It's a terrible UX. It needs to be abstracted away to not lose users. The other thing you're not seeing in this slide is basically music NFTs went into a kind of a bubble a year ago, and then music NFT sales plummeted. Basically, there was no real use case for music NFTs. My opinion is there was a lot of venture capital. There was an echo chamber that pushed the sales up, but there wasn't really an explanation beyond just supporting the artist, which is cool, but like it's not really a consumer product use case, I would say. And then the other part of this slide that you're not seeing is like we're pitching to regular artists, like people that have an audience, that go on tours, that have millions of streamers. And when we come in and tell them crypto or NFT, they get scared away right away. So we actually try to keep it like very subtle. We'll like use words like decentralized, digital, native, etc. And you can see like this is across the industry. Like Coinbase changed their logo. They removed coin from Coinbase, which is pretty huge. It's the biggest company in the space. So some solutions that we've thought about, basically like the philosophy is to think of blockchain like it's like your database technology. So when you're building a startup, you're not going to tell like the users like I'm building it with SQL and like you're asking them for their like SSH into SQL or whatever. Like you're focusing on the product. There's some value to blockchain, like to using blockchain for the user. Like they need to know that it's transparent. They can use tools to see the stuff that is happening to their money. So that, yes, that should be surfaced. But beyond that, I think it should be kind of toned down. So a couple like very cool kind of guiding principles is to remove the initial friction. So there's plenty of tools out there that allow users to sign up and log in using regular providers like Google, Apple, Instagram, and then there's various models to generate wallet addresses for them. So they don't even need to worry about like wallets. They can just log in with Google. Like these tools use different mechanisms. Like MPC is a mechanism that allows you to generate a wallet for somebody and not like, but you don't own the private key. The private key is basically spread. Nobody owns it. So that's been huge. A lot of products using that has been very big for us. And then the other thing is simplifying transactions. So there's many ways to do this. Lens protocol that we're building on has a dispatcher mechanism. So basically you activate this thing and then you're basically telling them anything that, anything that I post is validated, is signed. I don't need to sign every time until you deactivate it. So it's kind of like there's a little security risk, but I think like most users won't really care about that. There's also account abstraction. It's very new, allows people to kind of interact with portions of their wallet via smart contract without directly kind of having to log in or anything. There's also topping up the user account with fiat currency. So there's tools like OnRamper, CrossMint, et cetera, that allow you to let users pay for NFTs with dollars, with their credit card, which make the whole thing very simple. And I'll leave some time for questions, so I'm going to stop here. This is my info. Yeah. Yes. Yes, go ahead. Oh.
This might come as a little bit of a curveball, but I don't know if you were in the previous talk, but I assume a lot of the music you're talking about is like recorded stuff, right?
Recording?
Recorded stuff, like MP3s, WAVs, like recorded content.
Well, yeah, I mean, most content is now in the form, like when you listen to on Spotify, et cetera, it's like,
This I understand. My question for you is, what about live?
Oh, yeah, that's like, I mean, like that, yeah, that's a whole different, what about live with just regular Web 2, right? Like, never really made I mean, there's Ticketmaster. I think there's stuff with tickets, that's what I'd say. Like we're not really doing that, but like with tickets, there's probably some interesting stuff, I'd say.
I wanted to ask, what is STEM's meeting point with the user? Like, are you about creating a streaming app for the STEM's produced composite of STEM NFTs? Mm-hmm. Or is it more like an online editor where me as a
musician?
No, even just as a thinker, like a marketer, I need original music and I can choose different stems from different creators, create my pay, and that gets divided. So what is the final product that maybe you're aiming to, if you want to disclose, of course?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's kind of like a chicken and egg thing where you need music, you need musicians to get users, you need users for musicians to care about posting. So we're focusing on producers and just building up it's a producer-centric product and platform. We're on Discord also if you guys want to join the Discord and see how it works. Basically like we're learning from the community of producers to build a product that creates more music and then brings on more users, basically. Great. That's it for me. Thank you.